Hi, this is Divya with you. Today, we are dealing with the first session on the third P of marketing mix, that is place. We would be having a case study approach on the company Unilever in order to open up our thoughts as a preliminary step towards exploring on this topic. Our lesson objectives for the day is, by the end of the session, we will have identified the meaning of place and distribution. We will have discussed the reasons and methods of distribution used by Unilever. And also, we will have researched on different types of outlet based on case study in groups. The success criteria goes like this. You make an acceptable progress when you can define place and distribution. You make a good progress when you can discuss reasons and methods of distribution used by Unilever. You make a very good progress when you can apply your learning to research on different types of outlet based on the case study Unilever. You make an outstanding progress when you can research and complete the task provided in the session. Let's move on to the keywords. The keywords of the day is place, distribution, wholesalers, retailers, agents, cooperatives, independents, intermediary, and producers. Now it's time for us to check how your IQ is going to help you in setting your thoughts and exploring your perspectives. Let's have a look onto an image. Can you identify on what these persons are thinking on? Some of them is thinking on sending an email. Some of them is thinking to share something on OneDrive. Some of them is thinking to like someone's information. Someone is thinking to make a call. Someone is thinking to link. Someone is thinking on Twitter. Someone is thinking on messaging someone. So, what do you think all of these people are thinking of? From this picture, some of you would have probably thought on information technology, social networks, way of communication, or even thought that these are the ways of sharing some information or files using different online platforms of communication. Yes, all is true, but the purpose is only one, that is to communicate and share information from sender to receiver. Now you might be thinking how this is linked with our topic place and distribution channels. The answer is as told. There are different ways in sharing an information online. Likewise, there are different ways which business use in making their products reach customers. Those ways is known as distribution channels, and we call them intermediaries. Have a look on these images of distribution channels. One of the most important functions of marketing mix is to make sure the products get to the right place at the right time. You can see that the products are moving from the manufacturing unit, that's from the owner, to the different distributors, and from different distributors it is reaching the retail stores. Yet there is another picture to show on the distribution channel. The product can reach the customers in a multiple number of ways, that is from producers to consumers, consumers through retailers. It can be like producer to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, retailer to consumer, producer to agent to wholesaler, again to a retailer, and then ultimately to customer. More on the distribution channels will be dealt in the next session, so keep exploring on more about this. Now let's check out a case study on Unilever. Let's solve this case study based on the questions asked for, and then you will have to answer the questions given under. The first question is, what is meant by distribution in business? Second question is, describe the method of distribution used by Unilever. Third question is, discuss one reason for Unilever's approach to distribution. The fourth question is a discussion which will be dealt in the next session. So these questions are discussed in our Padlet, and a self-assessment is made based on the rubric and Waggle based on assessment objectives. Now let's have a look onto the rubric for curriculum-based assessment. On this side, you can see the category of assessment objectives. And on the top row, you can see all the levels of answering those. As you see, the first assessment objective is AO1, that is knowledge. Second assessment objective is application, that is AO2. The third assessment objective is AO3, that is to analyze. AO4 is the fourth assessment objective, that is to evaluate. So this is actually your curriculum-based assessment objectives. Let me help you how you are going to do a self-assessment. If you are satisfying level 1 and level 2, that means your mark falls under 1. If you are satisfying level 3 and level 4, your marks falls under 2. So this is how you are going to assess yourself. Now, let's have a look on to the self-assessment mark entry table. Here, the first 3 questions you need to answer from the case study. When you look on to here, this is the maximum marks which is mentioned. So the first question is out of 2 marks. What you need to assess is the assessment objectives AO1 and AO2. That is, AO1 is knowledge, AO2 is application. So, if you are able to satisfy level 1 and level 2, which is seen in the rubric, you will be getting 1 mark out of 2. If you are able to satisfy AO1 with an example AO2, along with that, if you are able to satisfy level 3 and 4 of AO1 and AO2, then you are getting the full marks, that's 2. So you will be writing whether you are getting 1 mark or you will be assessing whether you are getting 2 marks. The same case applies in question 2. If you are only able to satisfy your answer with AO1 and AO2, you will be only getting 1 to 2 marks depending on the level which you have satisfied, that is level 1 and 2. If you want to get more marks, that is 3 and 4, you will have to satisfy the level 3 and 4 mentioned in the rubric. So then you will get 3 marks or 4 marks. Then you will be assessing and writing your marks here. That is whether you are getting 1 mark or whether you are getting 2 marks, you will be writing it here. If you are not falling under this category, then you will automatically fall under the second category, that is level 3 and 4. So you will be getting either 3 or 4 marks out of the maximum mark of 4. Same case applies to the third question as well. So this is how you do a self-assessment, and you'll be entering the marks over here. The curriculum link for this topic is marketing management. It is linked with production management. It is linked with the supply chain management. It is linked with the logistics management. It is also linked with the real businesses which exist in the world, which is selling it in retail stores. Wait, not only that, it doesn't end there. You can see a wiggle. Wiggle on what? Wiggle on the 3 questions on case study. You can see a model answer, a good answer on the first question, what is meant by distribution in business. Then you can see the wiggle of the second question on describe the method of distribution used by Unilever. Compare your answer with the answer which you have written. Then you will be in a position to assess yourself with the rubric. You can also check on to the third question answer on discuss one reason for Unilever's approach to distribution. Now, what do you think? Whether our lesson is complete without an exit card? Let's have an exit card. So this exit card gives you an exact idea on how much you can learn on the session. This exit card would help you understand how much you have understood on this session. So here you need to fill in what you have learned today. What could you have learned more? The question I still have, you can write it over here. I know that you of course will be having some doubt on how this exit card is done. So I'm going to show you an example. Here, this is a model answer on how you're going to fill in your exit card. So today I learned on the concept of place and distribution. I could research, apply and analyze on the case study questions. I learned to do self-assessment. So these are few examples on what you have learned. I could have improved my analysis on the question number 2, where I could have included more distribution channels. Question I still have. What do I know more on the intermediaries we mentioned in class? After that, I'll be providing a feedback. Usually, you have to check the comment box or wherever I update the feedback to you. That's all for the today's session. Until we catch up again, keep thinking why certain businesses chose their outlets to be in a particular place and why not in some other place. Thank you.